Hi, in this video, we are going to look at how we go about estimating SURDS. But before we do this, I'd quickly like to brush up on squared and cubed numbers and their respective roots. A squared number is the number we get after multiplying a number by itself. So we can see that 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, and 5 times 5 is 25. Cube numbers, on the other hand, are similar to square numbers, but they are the result of multiplying a number by itself 3 times. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, 4 times 4 times 4 is 64, and 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Now, it's a good idea to learn the basic squares and cubes, as it will help you with this section. Let's make some space. Now, writing 1 times 1 times 1 and 3 times 3 can be time consuming, and there is another way of doing this. Let's look at 8 times 8. Here we have 8 multiplied by itself twice, so we can write it in exponential form like this. The number we are multiplying is known as the base. In this case, 8 is our base, and the amount of times we multiply it by itself is known as the exponent. Here we are multiplying 8 by itself twice, so 2 is our exponent. We know that 8 times 8 is 64, so we can say 8 squared is 64. And we also know that 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8, so we can say 2 cubed is equal to 8. Now I would like to look at roots. The square root looks like this. The root has the opposite function of the exponent. So we have just said that 8 squared is equal to 64. So the square root of 64 is equal to 8. We use the square root to find the actual number that has been multiplied by itself twice. The cube root sign looks like this. It is exactly the same as the square root sign, except now there's a little 3 written next to it. The cube root helps us find the value of a number multiplied by itself 3 times. We know that 2 cubed is equal to 8, so we can see that the cube root of 8 is equal to 2. Remember that you don't need to write a small 2 for the square root. We only do this for cube roots and onwards, so we can have root 4, root 5, or any value. Now let's look at surds. Any value under a root sign is known as a surd. If a square number is written as a surd, it is easier to find the root. We know that 5 squared is equal to 25, so the square root of 25 is equal to 5. 7 squared is equal to 49, so the square root of 49 must be 7. This also applies to cubes. 3 cubed is equal to 27, so the cube root of 27 must be 3. 6 cubed is equal to 216, so the cube root of 216 is 6. So what about the square root of 23? 23 is not a square number, so without a calculator, we cannot find its actual value. Let's make some more space over here. We may not be able to find the actual value of the square root of 23, but we can still estimate its value. The best way to estimate a surd is to learn the most common squares and cubes. We know that 1 squared is equal to 1, 2 squared is equal to 4, 3 squared is equal to 9, 4 squared is equal to 16, and 5 squared is equal to 25. Now, 23 lies between 16 and 25. Therefore, the square root of 23 must lie between 4 and 5. And we have now estimated this value. Let's look at the cube root of 300. Let's write down some cube numbers. 1 cubed is 1. 2 cubed is equal to 8. 3 cubed is equal to 27. 4 cubed is equal to 64. 5 cubed is equal to 125. 6 cubed is equal to 216. And 7 cubed is equal to 343. Now, 300 lies between 216 and 343. Therefore, we can see the cube root of 300 must lie between 6 and 7.